During the Cold War, what mobilized the military development of the powers was the fear of a possible nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union. A doomsday scenario of mutual assured destruction. Washington, in particular, was almost paranoid in fear of a long-range Soviet bombardment. Recent developments in models like the Myasishchev M-4 were proof that Russian engineers had the technology and capabilities to put together the largest nuclear strike force in history. What was the U.S. response? Approve any project that could provide effective protection against such a threat. Among those potential weapons was the mysterious North American XF-108 Rapier, an interceptor that promised to break all speed and range records to date. What the United States did not know was that the investment was destined to fail. In this new video from Military Aviation, we want to tell you the story of one of the first North American manned aircraft that broke the Mach 3 barrier, and what were the critical problems that sentenced it. In the early 1950s, the United States Air Force was looking for a high-performance, long-range interceptor to replace the classic F-102 Delta Dagger. That is why on July 20, 1955, the development of the Long-Range Interceptor Experimental Program was approved. The specifications called for a craft that could fly at an altitude of 60,000 feet, at a speed of at least Mach 1.7, and with a range of 1,000 miles. The new design was to accommodate a two-man crew and a two-engine power plant. Another important consideration was providing enough space to place an integrated fire control system, which would allow it to intercept an enemy up to 110 kilometers away, being able to destroy up to 3 targets in a single mission. 8 interested companies came forward, but it was immediately apparent that the most promising was North American with its NA-236 prototype aircraft. The proposal shared some similarities with the final XF-108, but was still a primitive design. Political and financial problems put the program on hold in 1956. But the Russians were knocking on the door, and the American government was in no position to hesitate. In April 1957, the program was resumed and 2 prototypes designated as F-108 were finalized. The Rapier finally had shape. The initial configuration of the F-108 featured a large double delta wing. The fuselage featured fixed ventral stabilizers on the wings, mounted mid-span, and a fully movable vertical tailfin. The latter was complemented by 2 other ventral stabilizers that extended when the landing gear retracted. In total, the aircraft had a length of 27.2 meters in length and a wingspan of 17.5 meters. The empty weight of it was 23,098 kilograms, with a maximum takeoff weight of 46,500 kilograms. The F-108 Rapier design underwent considerable evolution, in large part due to its cutting-edge technology and continuous redefinitions of United States Air Force requirements. Early prominent revisions incorporated canards with a 20-foot wingspan and a wing with a 53-degree rake swept. In this configuration, the aircraft had a maximum takeoff weight of 45,000 kilograms, with an operating ceiling of 22,000 meters. The large fuselage and wings could use between 2 and 5 fuel tanks, giving the F-108 an estimated combat radius of nearly 2,000 kilometers. The maximum speed was estimated at 3,190 kilometers, that is, a maximum speed close to Mach 3. To reach that mark, the plane was powered by 2 General Electric J93 turbojet engines, the same ones used in the North American XB-70 Valkyrie bomber, another failed prototype. The F-108 was intended to carry the Hughes and ASG-18 radar, the first pulsed Doppler radar set produced in the United States. In addition, the radar was paired with an infrared search and track system located on the wing leading edges. The Hughes was used to guide Hughes GAR-9 air-to-air missiles, which would be carried on a rotary launcher located in an internal weapons bay. The GAR-9 was a very large, long-range weapon, with its own radar for final guidance when approaching the target. It was designed to fly at a speed of Mach 6, with a range of almost 180 kilometers, ideal for hunting down the Soviet bombers that the United States so feared. Thanks to its capabilities, North American proposed the F-108 as an escort fighter for its prototype B-70 Valkyrie supersonic bomber. Common parts between both models included the exhaust pod and power plant. In addition, it was thought of using the F-108 to cover gaps in the distant early warning system. But, if it was so good, why was it never produced in series? The F-108's failure had multiple reasons, which could be traced back to September 1958, another important period in the aircraft's turbulent history. Substantial design and engineering changes were made, but the problem was that, at the same time, many officers lost interest in the concept of a fighter acting as an escort for other ships. The Rapier was shown not to be powerful enough to escort, for example, the B-70 bomber to its target. Even so, in December of that year, 20 pre-production models were ordered, scheduling a first flight for April 1961. In this way, the program appeared to be progressing well, but there were increasing signs that its usefulness would be limited. The feared Soviet bombings never materialized, and over time it became apparent that if war were to break out, destruction was more likely to come from an ICBM. In parallel, the importance of fighters as tools capable of fulfilling various roles went against the specialization proposed by North American. Prices rose, improvements delayed delivery, and finally, on September 23, 1959, the impressive F-108 Rapier was announced as cancelled. After so much effort and experimentation, North American did not want to give up and continued to refine the design throughout the 1960s, in the hope that the program could once again be revived. Unfortunately for those who invested time and money, that change of heart never materialized. During this stage, the technology that was born from this program was applied to other ships such as the North American A-5 Vigilante, which was developed for the U.S. Navy, an embarked reconnaissance model. In many ways, the Vigilante was the most successful continuation of the Rapier legacy, with supersonic speeds reaching Mach 2. At the same time, the GAR-9 missile continued in development and was used in other programs such as the YF-12, being the predecessor of the AIM-54 Phoenix. This is how the impressive plane that was to protect the United States from the Soviet invasion was forgotten in the history of aviation. This is how we come to the end of the video. If you like to learn about unusual models that changed history in their own way, we invite you to subscribe and activate notifications. We'll meet again in the next video of military aviation.